Well, this year, for the past couple of years, I've been working with various American racing organizations to help bring over Japanese racehorses to the United States to race, participate in the Breeders' Cup or the American Triple Crown. I help kind of coordinate the Japanese side of the quarantine in Saudi Arabia for the Saudi Cup, and then Dubai for the Dubai World Cup. So it's just kind of my job to kind of oversee all of the very talented horsemen and women taking care of all the Japanese horses. And make sure that they get everything they need and want. And then that kind of spiraled into coming here to the Kentucky Derby, since Crown Pride did such a fantastic job in the UA Derby.
And given the success that Japanese horses have had on the world stage over the last, say, 6 to 12 months, and you've been a part of it, you're at Del Mar for Breeders as well, do you have a highlight?
I mean, this whole 6-7 months have been pretty awesome, so I can't really complain about a single bit of it. It's great to be able to travel around with these amazing men and women and their horses to, experience the best racing the world has to offer.
And tell us about that experience at Del Mar over Breeders.
Oh, Breeders' Cup was fantastic. I mean, Breeders' Cup was the first one to hire me when I set off on my own. So to have them to be able to get that first Japanese win with them was quite special. And not only just one, but two. So the second one was quite the surprise. And then after that, we had, going to Saudi Arabia and Dubai, we kind of dominated over there, which was really awesome to watch. And so hopefully we'll have a really good first Saturday in May.
Yeah, and I mean, Japanese racing, it seems to have kind of cracked the code for success on the world stage. What do you put down what do you put this recent success down to?
I think all in all, if you look at kind of where they were in 2019 before the pandemic, they traveled quite a lot. And I think that you're seeing a continuation of that post-pandemic kind of, we can travel again mentality. So I think the past 2 years would have been a lot different if there had been no pandemic. I think the Japanese would have started their domination a little bit earlier. But I think it really goes down to just really attention to detail in breeding and caring for the horses. The breeding program that the Japanese have implemented over the past couple of decades has been fantastic. And Mr. Teruyo Yoshida, the owner of Crown Pride, his father bought Sunday Silence, and then have bought a lot of Kentucky Oaks winning mares and a lot of Kentucky Derby winners, brought them over to the United States, just bred the best to the best, and they kept making the best. And so now they're taking those best Japanese breds and are challenging the rest of the world.
And speaking of breeding and Crown Pride, like on breeding alone, he should be well and truly in this race.
Yeah, he's got lots of American in him, and he's got some Japanese Derby-ish stuff in him as well. So he's got Derby on both sides. It'll be really exciting. It'd be really exciting to see Mr. Teruyo Yoshida go in the winner's circle on the first Saturday in May, because it's just his whole life has been about perfecting the perfect racehorse, and so much of his life has been involved in either working on American farms to learn the way the Americans do it, to take it back home to Japan, and having his own farm and working with his father, and then working with his brothers and all this other stuff. Everything he's ever done has been to go out and to win these big international races, and so to be able to see him get up there and take that golden trophy would be a real pleasure.
Nice. Crown Pride, he's been here for a few weeks already. It'll be the best part of a month by the time the Derby rolls around, a little bit more. How's he settled in?
He seems to have settled in really well. I think it's really good for the horse to come a little bit early, especially from a hard campaign like you can have in Dubai. I think the extra time and the cool Kentucky air offsetting the hot Dubai days might be kind of good for him. We didn't have much of a choice in that, though. It's quite cold here. But he seems to like the track. He moves very well and effortlessly over it. So, fingers crossed. If he can run well, that's always the biggest challenge for me when recruiting horses for the United States, is with the dirt. You never know if they're going to like it, because Japanese dirt's just deep sand, and American dirt, you've got a lot more in there. You've got a lot of clay and a lot of things that's a lot firmer ground. So knowing that he's had that success in Dubai makes me feel a lot more confident that he'll be able to perform. And Masafumi Matsuda and Yuki Uehara, who are working with him every day to perfect him, will be trying their best to make sure that he's ready to go on Saturday.
racing in front of a huge crowd's not going to worry him either?
Well, I mean, to be fair, Japan's had a very minimal crowd recently, but it was a pretty good crowd in Dubai. So he seemed to handle that quite well. So I'm not too worried about the crowd. He seems to be pretty focused when it comes time to race. Watching him in the mornings, he doesn't seem to be too bothered with all the other horses all surrounding him. And we had one morning where there was a siren, and he was cool as a cucumber. The tractors don't bother him. Nothing seems to bother him at this point. He can walk along the asphalt with cars passing him, dogs passing him. So he seems to be settling in and handling himself quite well with the new atmosphere.
Nice one. And for those not familiar with his jockey, Christophe Lamar, can you tell us a little bit about him?
I like to call him the best Japanese jockey. Though he's French, but he came to Japan and has just dominated since. I think France really lost a good one, but France's loss is our gain, and he's just a wonderful human being and a fabulous jockey. So I can't, even though he hasn't ridden in the Kentucky Derby before, I can't imagine a better jockey to get to ride their first race in the Kentucky Derby and then Christophe Lamar.
And you'd expect him to run on the pace?
Probably like just off the pace, I think, is kind of the hope. I mean, it will depend on how he breaks. It'll depend on a lot of factors, but I think the trainer and the owner and everybody seems to have a lot of faith in Lamar. Most people, when they get Lamar on, he's like, just do what you think's best. So, because typically he can figure out, he's a good tactician and can figure out the race of the moment.
How is the confidence in the barn at the moment?
It seems pretty good. The horse has been feeling his oats, as they say, full of energy, and it really enjoys getting out there and working. So he's out there for about an hour each day, which is a long time based on the way other barns train. But we're in the quarantine barn. We can't really walk. It's all it's a proper quarantine facility. So we just got rubber mats. So to have him have proper cool out, he likes to walk around the track one more time, and just to kind of give him that little extra time outside as well, I think has been really good for him mentally. And I think it's gone well.
That's great. There's going to be a lot of handicappers watching this.
And the handicappers don't seem too keen on him.
Well, I was going to say, is your money on him?
Well, I don't. At the odds that he'll probably be on race day, I don't see why not. Like you could put a little bet on him and make a solid return if he shows up on the day. So I honestly, the biggest thing with the Kentucky Derby, it's not a matter of being the best horse on the day. It's not a matter of being the best horse in the race. It's you need that luck. Not to get stuck in traffic, to break well. There's so many factors in a field of 20 that you have to consider. And luckily in Japan, Christophe will have had a lot of experience with that, because we have routinely 18 horse fields in Japan. So being crowded and being pushed around is something that he's going to be uniquely used to, compared to some of these American horses who've been stuck in 5-horse fields or 6-horse fields.
Yeah. Well, I think, as you said before, the handicap is not too keen on Crown Pride at the moment, but I think we've all learned over the last 6 months or so, dismiss Japanese horses at your own
At your own risk, yeah. I think, you've got the Dubai factor, which I know doesn't make him the most attractive bet. You've got, the fact that, Japanese horses in the Derby have not, there's only been 3 now, but they haven't done as well as one would have hoped. But out of the 3 that we have, with the exception of maybe Lonnie, and his mental state might have gotten in his way a little bit. But Crown Pride doesn't have that problem. He's very mentally focused, and while he's a bit of a kid in the barn, he's a pro on the track.